What could you do to stop graffiti?
I think we need to spread the right message. When it causes a lot of damage, it can cause damage to people's own property. Some people think that they're just doing it on public land and that they're allowed to, so we need to tell them that it's unacceptable and they're causing damage. It's not very nice to look at, so we need to spread that message.
Do you like graffiti in Merthyr?
I think sometimes there's a difference in what people count as graffiti. I think sometimes you see big artistic murals on the wall, which a lot of effort and time has gone into, which are quite bright and colourful and pretty and quite, sometimes quite clever pieces of art. There's a difference then between sometimes people just scribbling their names on lampposts. That's often called tagging, and I think that's the real problem, is when people just tag their name and you see that repeated across different places, and that becomes a real nuisance.
What do you do if you see someone doing graffiti?
Well, you need to take their details and they can be prosecuted. There's a standard ticket you can give them, just like for littering and any other crime. There's a £75 fixed penalty notice for doing so.
Do you think designated graffiti areas are a good idea?
I think they can be a good idea if they're done well. Well, I think there's definitely an argument for it, because a lot of people need an outlet to channel their kind of artistic means. A lot of people want to make the place look prettier, and having an agreed kind of parameters of what they're allowed to do makes sense, as long as everybody is happy with it being in a particular area. As long as it brings those people in to do it in the same place, then it should work.
What would you say to the person who's doing graffiti?
I guess I try to find out why they're doing it. If it's just a matter of them plastering their name, then there's no good reason for that. If they're trying to spread a particular message or do something creative, then that's where it needs to be done in an organised area, so it looks good and people living in that area are happy with it.
Have you seen graffiti worse in other areas?
I have seen it worse in some areas. There is a problem with it here in Merthyr, but it's not as bad as some of the more built up cities that I've been to.
Is graffiti against the law?
Yes, it's against the law to do any kind of marking on anyone's property unless you've got the permission to do so from the landowner.
Have you done graffiti yourself?
No, I've never done it.
When does graffiti become a problem?
If nobody is demonstrating that it's a problem, then I guess it's not. It's when people like yourselves are aware of the problem and want to do something about it, is that I would say that's when the problem begins, really.
Why do people do graffiti?
I'm sure sometimes there's good reason for it. If you look back over the history of it, sometimes people have done it for like a political reason. So they're doing it to shout down to something that they feel really passionate about, and they're trying to make a stance about it. So that's sometimes the reason for it. Sometimes people think that they're making an area look better. They think they're doing it for the artistic reasons. But sometimes I think they just want their name and what they call their tag to be seen by as many people as possible.
Thanks for letting us interview you.
Pleasure. Thank you for interviewing me.